The application of spiritual principles to human despair. One of the issues that has been that I've been very passionate about is talking about the sociopathic economics and how even human pain will be turned into a profit center if there's money to be made for some corporation. I'm very concerned about what I think of as the psychotherapeutic, psychopharmacological industrial complex, which has chosen, for the sake of a billion-dollar industry, to medicalize human despair.
It's a game about making exorbitant amounts of drugs.
Depression, and I'm not talking about bipolar or schizophrenia. That's outside my lane, outside my purview. But the normal spectrum of human despair is my lane, because the real spiritual path does not just take a yellow smiley face like this and put it over everything, go be happy, be happy. Buddha would not have begun his path of enlightenment until he crossed his father's walls and saw suffering for the first time. Moses was sent by God to the Israelites because they were suffering in Egypt as slaves, and Jesus suffered on the cross. So that, if you had a heartbreak, a divorce, these things are painful, but they're not mental illnesses. And that's why in that book I write, this is what Buddhism says, this is what the Old Testament says, this is what the New Testament says. AA or anything else, that's why you keep coming back, because it's a rough day today. It's recognized it's a rough day today. It's recognized it's a rough day today. And if you're left on your own, God knows what your mind might lead you to do. So when you know principles, whatever your path is, and you practice them. So you asked about myself. Okay, Marianne, and I've lived 2 periods of time that by any means today would be called clinical depression, but even that's such a scam. All that means is somebody in a clinic said it. There is no blood test, right? But if you've been there, you know it. Okay, Marianne, number one, you don't even think this is going to be done quickly. So none of this, like, just, today people say, well, your mother died a month ago. Aren't you over it yet? No. Okay, it's going to take time. Number two, who are the safe people who can accompany you on this? Who are the people who will bear witness to your agony during this time? What are the things that you're going to need to support you? Make sure you have a lot of bubble bath. Make sure that you stay with your meditation, even though you don't want to. Stay with your prayer work. Make sure you show up for other people. You will have a tendency to isolate during this period of time. You must not do that. You must get up and work. Your subconscious will put aside your despair while you're showing up for other people. And then when you come back from that, you'll go back to crying again. There is an art to navigating despair. There is an art to navigating depression, and the spiritual principles lead us there. There are seasons of life. I quote in that book from Rilke where he says, "Let me not squander the hour of my pain."